What's going on, guys? Nick from the Rise Hunt up here filming the episode 5 videocast with Tyler. Make sure you watch till the end. We're going to give away a few of these bad boys, so I'll figure out how to be entered in for that.
2. All right, what is up, guys? It is Tyler here from the Rise Hunt along with Nick Healy. It is episode 5 of our videocast series here on YouTube. Can't believe we're already into the 5th one right now.
Before we know it, we're going to be hunting.
For sure, man. It's something to do to pass the time at least anyways. So
yeah, definitely kind of keep everyone in the loop what we're doing. And, we try to give out a little bit of tips and tactics that we do here and there. But
for sure.
You guys won't want to listen to us bullshit so much, so.
Heck yeah, man.
So anyways, first things first. You just got back from Missouri.
I did.
Picked up a new property down there. Tell me about it.
I did, man. I'm super excited about that. It's my first time hunting Missouri, let alone first time ever being in Missouri. Never been there before. I've hunted Illinois, I've hunted Ohio, but never Missouri. And sight unseen, went on and picked up a lease. It's 86 acres, I think it is.
Okay.
And it's in Sullivan County, Missouri. So I've heard it's pretty good deer hunting out there. And showed up. Matt and I drove out over the weekend, sight unseen, put a deposit down on the property and showed up. Didn't know what to expect. All I seen was just aerial images. So looked a lot different in person, but I guess good different.
Couple hills, not flat like around here.
Yeah. Definitely not flat. Coming down the road, looking into the property on the aerial image, it looks like you can just see across the whole property.
Yeah.
And that was not the case at all. It's like a 10-foot bank all the way down the whole side of the road. So, but yeah, we got boots on the ground on Saturday morning, and we walked the whole property. It took us about 3.5, 4 hours for the most part. But yeah, it looks really good. Bumped up a couple bucks on the property, and
there you go.
Anybody who didn't see this, we put a little vlog together. That's on the YouTube channel. That's up and stuff. But yeah, it's a cool piece of property. Definitely something to get my feet wet there, and I think it's got good potential there as far as bucks, and it's got timber, it's got fields, it's got
everything you need.
Yeah, it's laid out pretty nice too.
Was there a creek down in that bottom, in that middle finger?
There was.
So you got water, food, and cover.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody saw that on the Instagram story last Saturday, but I jumped that sucker. I bought one in. I had my GH4 in my hand and went straight in the mud. Just
yeah. It's a good thing that thing's a little bit waterproof on.
Yeah,
no.
For sure. But
yeah, you don't want to make it go swimming like Matt did with one.
Yeah.
No, I'm pumped for you. You finally get on some good property. Hopefully that little bit of change from hunting the Ohio public to some leased ground in Missouri will be the ticket this year, hopefully.
Dude, I hope so, man. I'm due. It's been 4 or 5 years to be the 50th. I killed a buck in 2015, but other than that, I unfortunately haven't.
You're pretty much due for a booner at this point, I think. But
for sure, that's a lot of my own fault too, though. I kind of like to take care of my friends first and put myself in the third best spot. I've been known to do that, and also I've been known to opt out of hunting and run the camera a lot. So
this is all you on that property. Be selfish.
Yeah.
Go kill a deer, whatever deer you want to go kill.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited about that. And I also I got Lauren. She's gonna come down and hunt gun season, and maybe get her a buck off this piece too.
Good. That'd be sweet if both you guys could get a deer off of there this year. I'm sure she'd be real happy.
Yeah.
We may even be able to convince her to buy a bigger chunk next year or some more land, even if that happens.
Yeah, we found out this piece was for sale actually. Pulled in, there's a for sale sign. I'm like, why is there a for sale sign out here? I was like, I was like, if I like this property that much, this is something I want to buy. And I mean, I don't know if I could buy something right now, but just seeing that sign there, seeing that it's like I could potentially buy it, but it's also kind of scary being a lease, for someone who's leasing a piece of property.
Yeah,
that sucker sells. Like, I mean, I'm sure I have a lease agreement until like June of next year, but I mean, I'm passing all these 2-year-old bucks this year, and I don't get to hunt it next year if it sells.
Yeah, that's definitely taking consideration on what deer you're trying to chase this year. I mean, whether or not you want to kind of fill that tag, or if you're gonna want to wait. But
yeah,
at least it kind of takes the pressure off of also too not having to worry about growing the deer the next year in a way.
Right.
So I mean, that can take that pressure off you a little bit too, where you can just kind of go down and enjoy it. And I mean, it's not always about the biggest buck in the woods, but
yeah,
I mean, who knows? I hope you fill both tags since you can't get 2 tags in Missouri. I hope you fill both
So
of them down
I
there.
didn't even know there was 2 Missouri tags when I bought the lease. Matt's like, "Oh, you get 2 tags." I'm like, "What? There's 2 tags in Missouri?" So that's pretty cool. Obviously with the gun season being right at the end of the rut right there, I think it starts the 16th, November 16th. So what I'll plan on going down. I'll probably do a trip the end of October, like a short weekend in October, and then do my long trip, like November 2nd to the 14th or something like that. And then, if Lauren can come down right there for that gun season, we can hit a few days into that gun season before we head back home. But
perfect timing.
Yeah.
And Buck should be ready to go at that point and be.
Definitely. I'm due, and I'm really excited to hunt this new piece and a new state, new everything. It's just
A whole new beginning for you.
Yeah.
Sometimes change is good.
Yep.
And hopefully it'll be for the good for you this year.
Definitely, man. I'm excited for sure. But yeah, on a different note here, you were hoping for a Wyoming tag and an Iowa tag.
Yeah, I pretty much kind of got a little bit screwed by the system this year. I knew coming into it was going to be a 50-50 chance with both states, but I figured what the heck, I'd try it, and pretty much all my plans went out the drain. So
Dang, dude.
I'm kind of free floating this year. Obviously, I'll be hunting here a little bit, and then my property down in Kentucky, but I may be out there in Missouri with you too at some point.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been wanting to hunt out there for years. I just haven't done it yet, and maybe this is the year finally it happens.
Yeah, that would be awesome, man. If you could find a piece, within 20 minutes of me or something, we could, camp together or whatever.
I hear you're providing breakfast and everything at the camp.
If we got Lauren down there, we'll have breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day, dude. Yeah.
That might be the ticket, just enough to convince me to go to Missouri for the rut. But,
Right. She was looking at campers online last night. I'm in trouble.
Yeah. It's just but then again, it'll be nice. Save a little bit on hotels and everything like that. Anyone who travels and hunts knows how expensive it can be on you sometimes, and being able to just have something there at the property is nice sometimes.
For sure. Yeah, I last couple years, Ryan Skornica, the other guy in the rice hunt, him and his dad take their fifth wheel out to Illinois, and it's Morgan County, and they set up a really sweet camp. I don't know if you've seen any of the pictures of their camp that they set up, but Matt and I, the first time we went down there, we didn't know how big into it these guys were. You're like, yeah, come out to our camp in Illinois. They got their fifth wheel set up. They got the awning out. They got a full screened in room. They got a full Cabela's tent set up with scent crusher rooms in it and stuff. All their gear's all scent crushed. They got their just sick bad boy buggies, electric, game hoist, everything's just set up perfect. And I was just like, oh my God, one day I want to be able to hunt like these guys. This is sweet. So I was definitely envious of that, and I think I might be able to do it on half the scale that they're doing if I can get a little cheap shitty camper and get my pop-up tent and put my camo in it.
Hey, you'll still be styling compared to me. I'm hauling down the enclosed trailer, plugging the generator, and sleeping on the air mattress.
Ooh, that's rough, man. Hey, you tried getting me to go out to Wyoming and tell me there's a shower every 3 days. You talked me right out of it.
Yeah, you just got to jump in the creek,
Yeah, I can't do that. I'm too high maintenance, man. I got to find a Hilton or something.
Yeah, right. Might be a truck stop on the way out there somewhere.
Jeez.
But
so, no Wyoming, and you didn't draw in Iowa either.
Yes.
So you're gonna hope for Missouri, and you're definitely hunting Kentucky.
Yep, definitely gonna be in Kentucky. Already got things kind of going down there for the year. Went down there. We've been 2 weekends ago now, I believe. Set out some minerals, some feeders, and some cameras. So I got 4 cameras out right now down there. I'm not really, obviously some people frown upon the feeders and stuff like that, but being that the fact that it is just nothing but solid timber down there, those feeders, I'm hoping this year can really help out with having some sort of food there on the property all year.
Right.
Obviously, we're going to go down there and do some food plots too and everything in the next few weeks. Yeah, do some fall food plots, but hoping that just that little bit extra food with all that timber help bring some of them deer in and keep them around. that's there's a deer down there that I call Coco. This will be the 3rd year after him. Last year, the first year he was there, it seemed like he was on at least one camera every single day. And then last year he was there, and then he just up and disappeared. I honestly thought he got killed, but then I went back down there turkey hunting, found the sheds. Well, here we go. You're number
Still
3
alive.
You're number 3 after him. So I kind of have a feeling that he left me and found some food somewhere on a different property. Who knows what the case may be? Deer. They haven't minded their own. But
Definitely.
at least this year I'm gonna go down there. I'm gonna have food there for them. And hopefully I can keep them long enough and finally be able to close the chapter on them.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm curious. He'll be 5.5-year-old this year, and I'm really curious to see what he's gonna blow up into.
That's really cool, man. That's pretty uncommon for people around us to find 3 years of sheds off a deer.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, I got a problem with squirrels down there, so it's
they're destroyed, but it's the deer. We know it's the deer.
Yeah, it's hard to tell on especially the second year. But when you get 5-point sight, and he's the only 5-point that there's some things he could pick out character-wise and whatnot. And then when I found his ones this year, I was like, holy cow, I can't believe it. He's alive.
He's alive.
It was the last thing I was expecting to find. It's funny too, because we went down there shed hunting. And literally, those are the only sheds I've ever found on that property is his.
Just his,
and 3 years of his. So it's like,
he lives near there.
yeah, I have no idea where he went last year, but he did a pretty dang good job at hiding. I'll tell you that.
Those deer are unbelievable. How much they can just divert cameras, divert hunters, live on the land, and just be invisible.
Yeah,
and then drop their sheds on your land, and you're like, where the heck were you at?
Yeah.
What the heck?
I mean, that's what last year is pretty much. I went down there and it was either him or no deer. I kind of figured.
Yeah.
Well, come October 6th, what was the last picture I had of him, and I went 2 months and not a single picture of him, nothing compared to the year before. He was on a camera every single day, so that's why I just thought he was dead. And
right.
I settled for a busted up 8-point, which he was a great deer by no means, but.
Yeah.
If I would have known Coco was still alive, I might have hung out a little bit longer and waited. But
right.
It is what it is. He's a year older, which means he's going to be a little bit bigger. And hopefully maybe we can close the chapter on him. I know I'm doing quite a bit of work down there with Buddy Kyle and Joe. And hopefully we can be able to keep that deer on the property and get him on the ground. And maybe one of those other ones that have been around there for 3 years also, too. So
right. Yeah, that's awesome, man. And something to take away from that, too, just a little thing going back to when you were talking about, it kind of disappeared on camera and maybe you would have hunted a little bit differently or a little bit harder is a lot of people do that, man. They look at their cameras and they're like, man, they're just not here. It's not here. But how many times have you hunted and you've seen a deer just skirt the edge of that camera, not see the camera, not see, and you wouldn't have seen that unless you were sitting in that stand. So little pro tip there, don't rely completely on your trail cameras because they will divert those cameras and
all it takes is 10 feet one this way or 10 feet that way. And you never get a picture of them. But
definitely. I mean, last year, just an example here in Michigan, a big buck I was hunting, last time I had pictures of him was middle October. Just thought he was dead. In middle of gun season in Michigan everything's dead.
Yeah.
And I see him on Christmas Eve. I was like, holy crap, that deer's alive. I haven't got a picture of him since beginning of October. But I see him in person. I wouldn't have got him on trail camera. I haven't got him on trail camera. But I've visually seen him at 100 yards. So don't hunt solely off your trail cameers.
I wish I would have been able to visually see him because he probably would have been dead. But
right.
It is. We rely on cameras so much nowadays, which they're a great tool to have, and they help us out a ton. But like you're saying, you just can't rely solely on those cameras. You actually gotta get out there and spend the time, and you never know. I could have spent the time, and all of a sudden, boom, Coco shows up, and I end up killing him. But kind of gave up hope on him, and just comparing one year to the other, and it's just
Yeah, that type of technology is like such a useful tool for us as hunters to be able to go out and survey, the land that we're hunting, but at the same time it can hurt those people that don't factor in that he's gonna walk around the back of the tree. I'm not gonna get a picture of him.
Yeah.
So
it's like you're saying, don't solely rely on them. Just go put the time in the woods. More time you spend in the woods, better the opportunities you are. Just what I always tell people is put the time in. Just play it smart, hunt smart. Don't educate those deer as much as you can, and
right.
As long as you put the time in, and you play everything smart, you should be able to kill a deer at some point during the year.
I would say so for sure. So going back to Kentucky a little bit, this has been a 3-year journey to try to kill this big deer. And you mentioned feeders, because a lot of people don't know this about Kentucky, but it's just giant, big rolling hills, all trees. Like we're hunting in the Midwest in Missouri, it's crops. There's crops everywhere. You hunt a crop field, you're going to see a freaking 100 deer. But if you're hunting timber, you better hope those deer are in your piece of timber because you might not see nothing at all.
Yeah, it's definitely a struggle. I mean, especially more so in my area of Kentucky. Once you start getting the western, you can start getting a little bit more open areas. But Eastern Kentucky. It's I call them miniature mountains, and you can pull up the aerial and you won't see an open spot in the timber on the aerial for miles. It's just
How do you hunt? How do you hunt that?
you just go pick a tree and hope that you pick the right one.
Boy.
Pretty much. No, we try to hunt some of the saddles and pay attention to the topple. That's
Like flat spots? Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, looking for
pinch points.
Ridges are kind of all connecting.
Okay.
And, and you look for them shelves on the ridges and stuff like that too. That's kind of where I've had my luck. I'm still learning with it, to be honest, being that it's flat here in Michigan. This is where I grew up on.
Flat earthers over here, man.
So learning the terrain a little bit is definitely something I've learned a little bit more every year and year. And I'm thinking this year we got a pretty good handle on it, and where we're gonna have some stands hung. I think are gonna be some killer spots, and with a little bit of luck, we'll be able to put a few bucks down there between the three of us. So
yeah,
it's gonna be fun. I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm hopefully I'll be done in September in Kentucky this year. But
heck yeah, man! That's kind of one of those cool perks about Kentucky too. Is it at the 15th of September it opens, or is it?
It's the first Saturday of September. So this year I believe it is either the 6th or the 7th. So a little bit later than what it was last year. I think last year was like the 1st or 2nd. Then this year. So you're gonna hit that transition area where some of them bucks might be out of velvet, some might still be in velvet, but
kind of get lucky, possibly catch some of them in their summer patterns, and yeah, I'm excited about Missouri too. As far as they got an early season, I've never had that opportunity, other than when we went out to North Dakota and we went out there the end of August. Was it August? I think we went out there. It was September 1st was opening day of season. So so we went out there a little early, anyways, to do some scouting, but. I didn't get to hunt, but I was running camera. But that early season hunting, man, it's pretty cool. Other than the mosquitoes and it being super hot,
ticks and sweating. That's only 3 downfalls. But other than that, it's good.
That's probably, in my opinion, the most predictable those deer are going to be all season.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, other than, yes, until you get to the late season. But I mean, then you gotta have the food. You gotta have the food in order for them to be predictable. So,
so early season, you're kind of. Figuring out their patterns and you're trying to hunt them on their patterns. Yeah. But, kind of opposed to late season is now they're going to food. Yes. So now you're hunting them on your pattern type deal. You know what I'm saying?
Hopefully.
Yeah. So that's kind of like how the tactic switches a little bit there. And then October is semi-nocturnal deer, just not moving much. October lull. And November they're running crazy everywhere. And then
good luck catching up with them at that point. But
right, I could only imagine trying to hunt deer in that big a timber in the rut. Like, do you even hunt there in the rut?
I don't even know. I did last year. Last year I set a week aside. I said I'm gonna hunt Kentucky during the rut. It was just I went down there for 3 days and it was not happening whatsoever.
It's tough.
I was frustrated, twiddling my thumbs, and so I packed up, came home.
Did you?
I came home. I hunt, like I said, hunt there for 3 days. Came home and. Thankfully, I did because I came home and killed a buck the next day here.
Did you really?
So obviously, I made the right choice somehow then. But things were just rocking back here, and like I said, it was just nothing was happening down there in Kentucky, and it's tough hunting down there regardless because we just don't have the high deer numbers. So I mean, you go hunt a week and you see 3 deer, and it's like that was a good weekend of hunting.
Jeez,
it's can be frustrating at times, but so I don't know if I'll even be down there this year during the rut. To be honest with you, I mean. If I don't have my tag filled by the time gun season comes around, I'll obviously go down there just because it seems like gun season is kind of more of a tradition type thing. And, we go out and we have fun. We've killed the last 2 years. That's when we've killed our bucks is during the gun season. So So hopefully I'll be done before then. And
that's the goal, anyways.
Yeah, I'm gonna be done in September, and then I'll be able to come out to Missouri with you and.
That'd be cool, man.
Go out there and hunt with you, film you, and hopefully maybe be there when you finally kill a deer. Because I know it's gonna be you're gonna be overwhelmed.
Oh yeah, I already know for sure. But going back just a little bit, I just want to touch a little more on the Kentucky subject. I hunted Ohio, obviously, and that's kind of big timber in Ohio because it's public ground, so it's a lot of timber. There's not much other than some like gas walls and flat grassy spots, which is nice. I'm sure you probably don't have those quite in Kentucky like they are in Ohio, but. It takes a couple years, and a lot of people think that they're going to go to a spot, they're going to hunt it, and they're going to find a good runway, and they're going to hunt it, and this is going to be the best spot. And that's not the case. No. Like, you can know as much as you want about deer and terrain and, geography and all this, but until you sit there and put in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, you're going to know where those deer are traveling. and it could be in a weird spot. Like, why that, all signs point they're moving here, but actually they're moving there. So, like, you can't learn that intel other than just sitting in the stand and putting time in the stand. And sometimes it takes multiple years to learn that information, and that's what you're doing in Kentucky. So, coming into this year, you got some intel. You learned a lot of knowledge putting time in the stand.
Yeah, it's we're actually putting in a new food plot this year that's good. I'm hoping will be where I kill Coco, hopefully.
He's calling it.
Yeah, he threw me for a loop because the first year, like I said, I was hunting him, and he was coming on this one ridge top, over and over and over on camera, just almost daily. And every time I'd go down there, I'd be like, all right, here it is. He's showing up daily. I'm gonna kill him. I'd never see him.
He's like, nah.
I'd get back home and I'd get a text, from the camera. And, oh, there he is.
There he is.
1 o'clock at night. It's like, what? He avoided me somehow, and I could not figure it out until this year. I think I finally figured out how. I was thinking he was bedding up over on a different ridge, and what actually was probably happening is I was walking right by him. I didn't realize it until where I found one side of his sheds this year and both sides this year. They were, about 50 yards apart, and I think I was walking right by him, and he was just coming up and over the hill, running the shelf down, and then popping up on the camera.
Oh, no way.
So
you were doing a deer drive every time you went out to go hunt.
He was probably sitting there watching me walk right by him and didn't even move. And so that was a big learning curve for me this year where I found those sheds. Because all three years have been on the same ridge top.
Really?
Within 100 to 150 yards of all three years. So, he's using that area, and that's kind of his main area. So hopefully finding them where I did this year is going to help predict killing him this year. And,
right.
Definitely, I thought going up on top of the hill and, walking it in because he figured he was over on the other ridge side, he'd never see me. Well, apparently I need to be down on the bottom by the other ridge side walking in because he's over on the other one. So
right. And how many years did it take you to learn that?
So 3 years.
3 years. And that's that, that key to that trick to the puzzle, that missing puzzle piece, whatever you want to call it. And like I said, people think they can buy a lease, go in, and they can kill mature deer. Like these deer are spending 365 days a year, and their only job is to survive. Yeah. And you're going in their house, and you're trying to kill them in their house. They're like, good luck.
Yeah. I mean, I never, you always wonder when you go in the woods, how many deer do you actually walk by without them, even knowing, without them getting up, without them spooking? How many deer actually let you walk by them that you never know about? Yeah. Until this year, when I killed my buck in Kentucky, I was walking over to check a camera, and I peeked up over the ridge top, and that deer was laying there 30 yards away. Yeah. And he let me walk that close to him. I shot him obviously, and but it's just like, how many deer let you walk past and you don't notice? Yeah,
someone once told me that naturally deer, the numbers could be wrong here, but it was a high number, 60, 70, or 80% of deer, if you walk up on them, are typically going to want to stay bedded because they feel safest bedded. It's not until they feel endangered that they're trying to get out of there. Yeah. But 60, 70, 80%, they're going to try to stay bedded. I mean, you're 20 yards away, they're still going to try to remain invisible. It's not until you get in that comfort zone, they're like, all right, I'm out of here. So those mature bucks, especially, that have got away with doing that, they've educated themselves that as long as I stay cool here, this dude's going to walk right by me. And you did it multiple times with Coco, and he had you patterned. You thought you had him patterned, and it was the other way around.
Yeah, he let me walk right by him, and like I said, I'd be getting just about back home, 5-hour drive, and all of a sudden, boop, there he is. He would just stay put and until he knew I was gone and it was safe and it was dark, and then nope, all right.
He's like, the guy hunting me is gone now. He just walked out of here. I just watched him.
So definitely a learning curve. I mean, it's just the big timber and stuff like that. It's tough hunting, but the one good thing about it is you can really, like I said, hopefully with the food this year, we can really start pulling some of those deer in and getting them a rhyme or reason to come to that property, because that's another thing with the timber. They have no rhyme or reason to go anywhere. It seems like
right, just cruising
wherever they feel like, and with the natural browse and the acorns, obviously they got certain food. Areas that they like, but so hopefully I can give them more of a reason to go places, and hopefully that will help us out this year. That's the game plan at least. But
okay, so what is the number one piece of advice you would give somebody that's about to dive in on a huge chunk of timber It doesn't matter where it's at. It doesn't matter if it's Michigan, Indiana, Illinois, Ohio, Missouri. It doesn't matter. Big chunk of timber. You got permission or leased a 400-acre chunk, and it's hills, just woods. What would be the number one piece of advice?
Go find a new property.
Well, what are you doing on one like that then?
Oh man, I really just try to focus on the time of the year.
Okay.
First thing I really did, the very first spot down there in Kentucky that I found, that I said, this is where I want to hunt. And it's actually the first spot I ever got a picture of cocoa. There was a little flat shelf, and then a spot that would hold water, about 30-yard strip that would hold water. And being as hot as it is down in Kentucky and everything like that early season, that's what I focused on.
Okay.
And of course, we went and hunted a different stand. He showed up on camera.
So that's not the best advice.
Just go with that for, the water, my initial instinct, in that spot. And because I actually wanted to hunt there, but we weren't.
Yeah.
He wasn't showing up there at the time, and we had another buck, so we went and tried to hunt that other deer. And sure enough, he was there, and we weren't. And that was September 10th, the first year.
Jeez.
Last year, same exact spot, September 7th.
So you know where to be this year.
Yeah.
So maybe your advice would be wait it out and learn.
Yeah.
And take your time, put the time in.
I'm really for the earlier part in the year, I'm getting rely on cameras big time. I'm really good at relying on the cameras. I got one cell camera down there right now. I'll probably have at least two more by the time season comes around, or for the month leading up to season. And I'm hoping at that point I'll have a good enough idea where I can pretty much go down there, climb in a stand, and catch them on that summer pattern. But if not, I'm going to go down there and hunt just because it's deer season 5 where you got to go. So
For sure. What if it's 90 degrees? You going anyway?
Yep, did it last year.
Did you?
Yeah.
Dang.
It's just nothing about being in that tree. You've been waiting all summer, and to go out, and finally you're in the tree. It doesn't matter if it's 100 degrees and you're swatting mosquitoes and sweating, but it's just that, how it is that first hunt of the year. You're just so geeked up and ramped up for it, and you got to do it. It's maybe a miserable hunt, but it's nice to be finally back in that tree after the long wait. You could be down there opening in Missouri.
If it's not 100 degrees, I probably will. And if it is 100 degrees, and I might still end up going just because I'll be itching and I'm excited and it's a new property and you got to learn it. You got to put the time in, and there's no better way to learn it than from a tree stand. So,
especially with a new property like that, being that you do have some crop fields too, you can kind of sit back and be able to watch a little bit too.
Yeah.
So that'll be a big advantage in the more open areas. Be able to do. It's just kind of when it's early like that. Set up an observation area where you're not really jumping in on those deer right off the bat, unless you got one pinned down that they feel like you have really good odds. But sit back and watch, and you'll give it a few hunts and watch them deer, and you'll learn a lot.
Oh yeah, for sure. Matt and I talked about that when we were down there. The northeast corner of my property is pretty high, and I was there's big timber on that side too. So if I could get I would go 25 feet up just for the being able to see.
Yeah.
And, nice, easy access. I'm literally coming over the fence, getting up in my stand. It's not the ideal hunting spot, but if I was going to go sit down there in early September, I want to be able to see. I want to be able to glass a lot. I want to be able to see almost all my fields. I want to see where the deer are moving.
Yep.
And if I'm down there for a few days, then I can move in.
Yep.
I don't want to just go move in and freak them out.
Hope for the best.
Yeah. So I would rather, just me personally, I'd rather sit back, scout, observe, figure some stuff out before I move in.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a tactic I want to try to do this year. If I go in early season, and I don't know much about hunting early season. Our season opens in October here. So. Yeah.
Hopefully we'll at least be able to get to experience it, one way or another. Even if you just go down there and sit from the truck, but you can't see in the property.
Right,
but,
I can't.
At least be able to kind of just glass, and you'll learn a lot. I feel like if you go down there and hunt those first few, whatever days, it might be hot, but if you sit back from far, you're gonna learn a lot. It's just gonna help you out for during the season.
Definitely, man, for sure. I'm excited. What are we at here? 29 minutes?
We're wrapping up here on the time, so.
Definitely. Definitely want to give a shout out to our sponsors. We got some awesome sponsors this year, as you guys know. Expedition Archery is one of them. Are you shooting the Mako or the Mountaineer?
Mako.
Mako. That fast bow.
Yes, that thing is dialed and ready to go.
Heck yeah, man. That's awesome.
She's waiting to eat. Badlands, can't thank them enough for everything that they do.
Yep, Blake and the guys over there just really helped us out, kind of took us under their wing a little bit, and they've been helping us out. And they got some sweet camo. Anybody who hasn't checked it out yet, it's Badlands Packs. And if you try this camo out, you're not going to go back to any other pattern because it works.
This is going to be my first full year with the full Badlands setup, and I went turkey season with it, and I'm already excited for come deer season. So especially with some of the newer stuff coming out, it's going to be, I'm excited.
Definitely, man. Another one is Back 40 butt calls. Awesome products, making turkey calls, butt calls, made right here in USA. Super good dude. Awesome calls. I used them last year. We used them turkey hunting and had really good success. So check those guys out too.
Hopefully we'll be grunting a booner in this fall.
Well, let's hope so. Alex shot a pretty good one last year, grunting one in. 150 something inches with drop tines. Hit the grunt call a couple times, and he came and hit the scrape.
Guess who's gonna do it this year?
Ooh, me?
Missouri.
I hope so, man.
Calling it.
What other sponsors you got?
Oh, we got the HuntWise app.
So you got a fresh hat on there.
Yes, they sent up some hats. Thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you, guys.
So can't thank those guys enough too. I mean, that app is just awesome.
Yeah,
I'm sure your face is probably buried in it when you're down there in Missouri this weekend. So it
is too, man. I'm just nonstop looking at those maps, and that app is so intuitive. It's really cool how you can go in there. You can measure a food plot. You can mark where you put a trail camera, mark where you hung a stand. I mean, any of that stuff, and that's super important for guys like us that hunt 10 hours away from or live 10 hours away from where we're hunting, and be able to be down there on the ground, have such a powerful tool in your hand, be able to mark that stuff down, that intel, go back home. Now I can study it. So
yeah, that's what I'll be heading down to Kentucky next weekend to work on some food plots. I'm gonna be marking out the whole food plot area so I know exactly how much fertilizer, how much lime, how much,
it saves you money
everything
there.
Like that. It's I know I'm gonna have to do some soil work, and the last thing I want to be doing is spending more money on fertilizer and lime because that stuff isn't cheap. So
yeah, it is very expensive.
Help us out huge with that this year, and obviously everything else too.
Cool, man. Yeah, last one it would be Stick and Pick. Stick and Pick, they got trail camera mounts, really sweet. I'm not hunting public this year, but the last few years that I've been hunting public, they have a screw-in tree step or camera mount that goes in. And a little trick I'd like to tell you guys. A lot of people already know this trick, but I take like one of my rapid rails, take it out into public ground with my trail camera on the Stick and Pick mount, put the rapid rail up, and then I'll go up, like nice and high over my head. Screw that in, put the camera on, aim it down, take my rapid rail and go out, because when a regular hunter walks through, that camera's way up out of eye level, and without that Stick and Pick mount, that wouldn't be possible.
Well, this year you could be using a lot of field mounts this year.
Yeah. Now I got all field property, so I'm gonna have those stick and pick mounts that go right in the ground. And I've used other ones in the past, and I'm not just trying to sell you it. And I've had like screw-in ones and all kinds of different ones. The Stick and Pick ones are hands down the best.
Dude, they're made out of metal. They're sturdy. You don't gotta worry about them tipping over in the ground. Those things are, once they're in the ground, they're not moving unless you run it over with the tractor or the truck. So
for sure, that's awesome, man. I screw my camera on it one-handed with a camera on a steel mount, step on that sucker, and it's good to go.
Yeah.
So those are really cool. But yep, I think the last thing we want to do, we're gonna do a giveaway this week, something a little different. Anyone who's watching who wants to be entered to win some hats, we're gonna give some hats away. All you have to do is comment on this video and tell us what you guys want us to talk about next week. Like and subscribe. So comment, like, and subscribe on this video, and we're gonna give them away. We'll probably announce the winners on Instagram. If not Instagram, we'll definitely give them away on the next video cast.
So get called for a wrap this time around.
Yep, that's it, man. I had fun. Hope you guys liked it, and catch you guys next Monday.
See ya.
See you.